I cheated on my husband, and now he refuses to divorce me but makes me beg for his forgiveness. I still don't know what possessed me to tell him. Maybe it was the crushing guilt, or maybe it was the naive hope that honesty could fix the damage I'd done. But as I sat across from my husband, Tom, with my hands trembling and tears pooling in my eyes, I knew there was no going back. "Tom," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I need to tell you something terrible." He looked up from his coffee, his face a mixture of concern and confusion. "What is it?" The words caught in my throat, choking me, but I forced them out. "I cheated on you." The silence that followed was unbearable. It stretched on for what felt like an eternity, each second suffocating me. His face didn't twist into anger like I expected. Instead, it went blank, eerily calm. "With who?" he finally asked, his voice unnervingly steady. "A coworker," I admitted, my voice breaking. "It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. It only happened once, and I ended it immediately. I swear, Tom, I love you. I'm so sorry." I expected him to yell, to demand a divorce, to pack his bags and leave me sobbing on the floor. But he didn't. He leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms, and studied me like I was a puzzle he was trying to solve. "I see," he said, after what felt like an eternity. "You're sorry." "Yes," I whispered, desperate. "I'll do anything to fix this. Please, just tell me what to do." He stood up slowly, his movements deliberate. "You want to fix this? Fine. We're not getting divorced. We'll stay together, but things are going to change. You'll have to earn back my trust." Relief flooded through me, mixed with confusion. I hadn't expected this response. "Of course," I said, nodding eagerly. "Whatever it takes." He gave me a tight smile, but his eyes were cold. "Good. Then let's move forward." At first, it seemed like he meant what he said about moving forward. He didn't bring up the affair, and our life resumed a semblance of normalcy. But it wasn't long before I started noticing the small changes. It began with comments that stung more than they should. "Are you wearing that? I guess it doesn't matter. No one's looking at you anymore anyway." When I cooked dinner, he'd take a bite, then set his fork down. Not quite as good as Mom's. But you tried." He started locking his phone, something he'd never done before. When I asked about it, he shrugged. "Trust has to be earned, doesn't it?" Our friend started pulling away from me. At first, I thought it was in my head, but then I overheard Tom on the phone, his voice low and conspiratorial. "Yeah, it's been tough. She's not the person I thought she was, but I'm trying to make it work." The worst part was, he never outright insulted me or yelled. It was all so subtle, so calculated, that I couldn't even call him out without sounding paranoid. "I'm just trying to rebuild what you broke," he'd say whenever I confronted him. Over time, he started cutting me off from the people I loved. He'd forget to tell me about family gatherings or claim that I wasn't invited because his family needed time to forgive me. When I suggested therapy, he laughed. "Why should I pay to fix something you broke? Figure it out yourself." I began to feel like a ghost in my own life, isolated and adrift. The man I had married was gone, replaced by someone cold and unrecognizable. One day, I found out he had canceled a weekend trip I'd planned with my best friend. "It's not a good look for you to be out partying," he said when I confronted him. "People talk, you know. I'm protecting you." "Protecting me?" I snapped. "You're controlling me." His expression darkened. "I'm doing what's best for us. Or have you forgotten that you're the one who destroyed this marriage?" The breaking point came when I checked our joint bank account one day and saw that it had been drained. Every last penny was gone. I confronted him immediately. "Where's the money, Tom?" He didn't even look guilty. "Oh, I moved it to a private account. Don't worry, it's all safe. I just don't think you should have access to it right now. You know, given your impulsive decisions." I felt the blood drain from my face. "You can't do that." "Actually, I can," he said with a smirk. "You signed over power of attorney to me last year, remember? It's all legal." That was when I realized the full extent of what he was doing. He wasn't just punishing me, he was trapping me. And the worst part? I had let him. Tom's smirk was unbearable. For months, I had let him control me, isolate me, and torment me because I felt I deserved it. But something about that smirk made me snap. You think you can just trap me like this forever? I asked, my voice trembling with both anger and desperation. He didn't even flinch. I don't think, Amanda. I know. You made your bed, and now you can lie in it. Maybe next time, you'll think twice before betraying someone who actually cared about you. His words stung, and for the first time, I saw the deep hurt behind his cold, calculated revenge. I had hurt him in a way I couldn't undo, and no matter how much I begged or apologized, he was determined to make me suffer for it. I went to bed that night replaying everything in my mind. Tom had been a good man, a loyal, caring husband who had never given me a reason to doubt his love. And I had thrown it all away for a moment of weakness. But now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to fight back or fight for him. The next morning, I called my best friend, Lisa. I had avoided telling her about my situation, mostly out of shame, but now I needed someone to talk to. I don't know what to do, I admitted. He's made my life miserable, and I don't blame him. But I still love him, Lisa. I want to fix this. I just don't know how. Lisa was quiet for a moment before speaking. Amanda, you messed up. Big time. But if you're serious about wanting him back, you need to stop playing the victim and start showing him that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Actions speak louder than words. Her advice stuck with me. I couldn't undo what I had done, but maybe, just maybe, I could prove to Tom that I was still the woman he had fallen in love with. I started making small changes. I stopped complaining about the chores and did them without being asked. I cooked his favorite meals, even if he didn't say thank you. I left little notes for him, apologizing and telling him how much I still cared about him. At first, he didn't respond. He acted as if I didn't exist, brushing past me in the hallway and barely acknowledging my efforts. But then, I noticed small cracks in his armor. One night, I caught him staring at one of the notes I had left on his desk. Another time, I heard him humming along to a song I had played in the kitchen while cooking. I knew it wasn't much, but it was something. Our wedding anniversary was approaching, and I decided to take a risk. I planned a small dinner at home, just the two of us. I cooked the meal we had shared on our first date and set the table with candles and flowers. When Tom walked in and saw the setup, his expression was unreadable. "What is this?" he asked, his tone guarded. "It's our anniversary," I said softly. "I know things aren't the same anymore, but I wanted to remind you of how we used to be. Of what we had." He sat down at the table, not saying a word. We ate in silence, the tension so thick it was almost suffocating. Finally, he looked up at me. "Do you really think this changes anything, Amanda? Do you think one nice dinner erases what you did?" Tears welled up in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. "No, Tom, I don't think it changes anything. But I'm trying. I'm trying to show you that I'm still the woman who loves you, who wants to make things right." He didn't respond, but he didn't leave either. As the days turned into weeks, Tom's coldness began to thaw, ever so slightly. He still didn't trust me, and I couldn't blame him. But there were moments, small, fleeting moments, where I saw the man I had married. One evening, as we were sitting in the living room, I worked up the courage to ask the question that had been haunting me. "Tom, do you think there's any chance for us? Any chance that you could forgive me someday?" He didn't answer right away. When he finally spoke, his voice was heavy with emotion. "I don't know, Amanda," he said. "You broke something in me that I'm not sure can be fixed. But I can't deny that part of me still remembers how much I loved you. How much I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you." It wasn't the answer I had hoped for, but it wasn't a no either. Now, I'm left wondering how to move forward. I know I can't erase the past or undo the pain I caused, but I also know that I'm not ready to give up on us. Tom hasn't filed for divorce, and part of me hopes that means he still sees a future for us. But how do I prove to him that I'm worth another chance? How do I show him that the woman who betrayed him is gone, and the woman he fell in love with is still here, waiting for him? I don't know the answer yet, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to find out.